Things are, in fact, on track. Less than 30 seconds to the planned liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 rocket supporting the Starlink 6-38 mission. The vehicle has cleared the tower. The first of what is poised to be a SpaceX doubleheader, now well on its way. We're now 30 seconds into flight. Let's listen to the roar of those 9 Merlin engines. Now coming up on a minute into flight. Falcon 9 supersonic, traveling faster than the speed of sound. Getting some great tracking views. This view from our cameras here at the press site. This from Pete Carson's with Max Q Productions as the vehicle is passing through Max Q. The point is of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. Coming up on MVAC chill down, where they thermally condition the Merlin. You hear that call out? They're thermally conditioning the MVAC engine ahead of its planned ignition. As the clouds have cleared away, we're getting some great clear tracking views from our team here. You just saw Pete. This is Chuck. Pete again. Now over 2 minutes into flight, we're approaching main engine cutoff or MECO. The 9 Merlin engines will shut down, followed by stage separation and the ignition of the Merlin vacuum engine, with the jettison of the payloads coming up shortly thereafter. And you see MECO there, stage separation. And ignition of the Merlin vacuum engine. You can see a little bit of the glint of that first stage booster as it fell away. Before the engine ignites, you can see the Space Coast and the delayed SpaceX views, the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Coming up on fairing separation in just a few seconds. You see those payload fairings falling away in Pete's live views. We'll see the same thing in the SpaceX feed momentarily. And there you see those Starlink satellites now exposed to the vacuum of space for the first time. Well, not quite the sunset launch we were hoping to see tonight. Still getting some pretty brilliant color. The Merlin vacuum engine continues to power the second stage of the Falcon 9 rocket. That first stage, tail number B1062, starting to make its way back down towards the drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas. We're now T plus 4 minutes, 7 seconds and counting into the flight. Coming up next will be the first stage entry burn, which will last 23 seconds, starting at T plus 6 minutes and 10 seconds, a little under 2 minutes from now. Now coming up on 5 minutes into flight.
Both vehicles continue to follow a nominal trajectory.
Very good call out from SpaceX as the flight continues to move along nominally, a little over 5 minutes into this mission. We're now less than a minute away from the first stage entry burn beginning. We're shifting away from Pete for just a moment as he's getting a position to hopefully be able to get a glimpse of that entry burn. We'll come back to him in just a few seconds.
Both stages are on a nominal trajectory.
That entry burn coming up in about 4 seconds. And there you see that entry burn beginning. Our friend Pete Carstens.
Stage 1 FTSS saved.
Getting this brilliant 23-second burn now. Seeing that begin on the SpaceX feed as well.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
With that entry burn wrapped up, the next milestones are going to be far enough away
FTSS saved.
and low enough on the horizon that unfortunately we won't be able to see them with our ground cameras, so we'll be relying on SpaceX's onboard views at this point. We're now 7 minutes into this flight. Coming up, our next milestone will be the landing burn.
Both vehicles are following.
Entry burn shutdown.
It's the Falcon 9 first stage booster coming back down. Although Pete looks like, well, just fallen out of frame, but did have the Merlin vacuum engine continuing on its burn. And he's got it back now. Well done, Pete. A little over 7.5 minutes into flight. Coming up on that landing burn, which will begin at 8:05 minutes into flight.
Stage 1 transonic.
Just as a bit of housekeeping, our countdown clock, or our mission clock, is in real time. SpaceX running about 10 or so seconds behind, which is why you're seeing these events happen first on our views and then on the SpaceX feed.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
Stage 1 landing burn.
You see that landing burn now underway. Coming up, we'll see the drone ship should be appearing on the right-hand side. There we go.
Stage 1 landing light deploy.
And touchdown.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Booster 1062 now joining the 18 Launch and Landing Club. Coming up closer and closer to the
back shutdown.
milestone set previously by the now former booster 1058, which had notched 19 flights.
No. Insertion.
And hearing those call-outs from SpaceX, the Falcon 9 second stage has entered into its parking orbit. And we'll continue on in this coast phase until T plus 54 minutes 4 seconds, when it will have a 2-second burn, setting up for Starlink satellite deployment. That's coming up at T plus 1 hour, 5 minutes, 22 seconds.